Welcome back to Tractors, Land, and Shop Time. Boy, it's been a little bit since I had the camera out. I know I've had some videos coming out, but I was a little bit ahead. I'm about out of videos, actually. Haven't had the time to record. My wife and I just went out to the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally here in Sturgis, South Dakota, out in the Black Hills. So that was last weekend, so I actually haven't been out here at Area 61, the ranch, the land. I like Area 61. We're gonna go with that one right now. I haven't been out here for about 2 weeks, and I've been really busy in between time doing lots of stuff, so I haven't had time to really do much recording at all. And when I was out here, I had so many other things to do, I just didn't have time to record. I don't know how much time I'll have this weekend either, because it's Friday night. I just got out here. Looks like it's about 5 o'clock. Busy trying to get some sprinklers going again and cleaning some stuff up, putting stuff away. I'll probably, actually about all I'll probably get done this weekend is doing a little bit of mowing. I got to put the rotary cutter back on the 4066R. We'll hit a few spots. It's been really dry out here, which is kind of both good and bad. It's bad because it's dry, but it's good because stuff hasn't been growing real fast, so that helps out a little bit, but I still got areas where things grow better than others, so I want to hit some of those areas. I did have, I'm going to flip the camera around. I did have a big load of crushed concrete. Actually, I think it's crushed concrete, crushed asphalt mixture. So you can see that big pile over there, right there. I had that delivered sometime during the last 2 weeks here. They've been hauling out, every time I call them, they bring out just a dump truck load, but this time they brought out a whole semi side dump, so that's good. I won't have to call them again for a while. Bad part is they didn't put it exactly where I'd like it. I'd like it to be, I don't know if you can see the other second pile over there. That's kind of where my dump trucks piles have been. And I was about out, so I called for more and they kind of put it right there. But it's kind of okay because I'm trying to cover, eventually I would like kind of all this right in here. I'd like all that to be this stuff, because this stuff was done, this pad right out here, that was done right when we did the building, and it doesn't track into the building very bad at all, even when it's wet. I mean, you get some, but not near as bad as just the dirt and gravel. There's no large rocks in it. Like over here, you can see where I've used the land plane and stuff. It pulls up all those huge rocks, which just really stinks. Like, winter's coming before you know it. I know it's only mid-August, but before you know it, we'll have winter and I'll be out there trying to snowblow, and those rocks are not friendly to the snowblower. So I'm trying to kind of keep working my way out here. I did some work last time I was out here. I spread some more, expanding that a little bit. It's not real deep, but I want to get more of that out there. And then so yeah, I got that big pile, and that's kind of where it's going to go anyway. I did use my new land plane right out there, kind of figured out how to use that, and I did get rid of a bunch of these big rocks. So I still need to kind of work on this area to do that first, and then we'll put down more of that. So we're going to go out about where that big pile is, finish that triangle. I got to land plane this, and then we'll do that, and then this whole area should be pretty good with nice crushed asphalt, crushed concrete, no big rocks, easy to snow blow, no tracking mud. So yeah, that should be pretty good once we get all that done. Last time I was out here, I also had I got a backpack sprayer. Didn't have time to film that because I was too busy, but I'll show you that in a minute. But I had weeds growing in here really bad, so I got that backpack sprayer. I think it holds 4 gallons, I think, if I remember right. And it's battery powered. Man, that thing works great. I went through about 3 or 4 tanks of that, spraying areas like that. Those weeds are dead. I sprayed out by my pond. Let me go show you that in a minute. So speaking of pond, So I sprayed all this. That stuff's really dying off. Pond though, man, that's so low. Our water level was up there this spring, and this is getting so ridiculously low. I had trimmed all this because this here looked like that with a bunch of tall weeds. Actually, those don't even look too bad now after I did all that. But so I got rid of all the weeds. In reference, here's our building over here. So you look out from our building and the patio to the pond. It's a nice view, except for the shoreline was just full of all these tall weeds and stuff. So I had the weed eater out, trimmed all that, and then I sprayed the heck out of it because I don't want that to come back. I want to try to, I hate weed eating. So I'd rather spray it than have to weed eat it. So if I can get it cut down and then just try to maintain it this way, that's kind of the goal. So I also sprayed, well, all the way up here, and then by the boat dock over there, I sprayed all that. My little boat ramp was getting kind of ridiculously covered with weeds, and then I had a bunch around my flagpole over there. The base of that was getting all covered with weeds, and it's like, I just don't need that. Our beach, actually, if you could see the beach over here, see those weeds, that's about where the water line was this spring. And so yeah, that's how far the water level has dropped. But so I sprayed all that. I didn't get over there. There's more spraying to do, obviously, but it's probably the most spraying I've ever done out here this year, I should say. Every other year I've had other technical difficulties and I never got to spray much. I've been through tons of spray through my tractor sprayer, and then I got this backpack sprayer now, so I can, oh my, so I can spray like crazy. These dogs, they're so excited to be out here. They love it out here. We've even been out here for about an hour and they're still awfully excited. It'll take them a while to get calmed down. I gotta wear them out. They're good for a couple of days. Look at that, see? They're good for a couple of days worth of running yet. Especially that guy. Good old trigger boy. Action shot. Oh, now Chloe's gonna get in on it. That's an excellent place to wear your dogs out. So here's the current condition of our shop out here. Got to move the golf cart. Some stuff got rearranged because my son Reed had his pontoon in here, taking up all this parking room. So we had to shuffle things, but that is not going to be parked out here, is it, Reed? Nope, it's not. So anyway, we're going to put everything back the way that goes. We'll get the golf cart reoriented and everything's going to go back to normal here, but that's kind of where we're at. And oh, speaking of dogs, probably should get some water out for them. They're going to be thirsty here pretty darn quick. Well, it's Saturday morning and we're still alive, so we might as well go do a little bit of mowing. Back in the 4066R, got some stuff done last night. Actually, I mowed kind of a little bit late just because today there's supposed to be some rain coming, and it actually off to the west is looking pretty gray. Just checked the radar. It doesn't look like there's anything heavy coming this way, but there's definitely a little bit of rain headed our direction. So I thought I'd come out. Did ride the Ranger around the trails on the east part of our land, and it looked like that could be mowed. Like I say, a lot of this is dry, so it hasn't really needed it too much, but a lot of it doesn't. But the really low ground stuff grows a little faster, so we gotta mow that. It's been well, at least a couple weeks since I cut it last, and this stuff likes to grow. So all right, up the speed, drop the deck, and we're off. There's our T-Dog running ahead. Dakota's up here just around the corner. There he is. And of course my spoiled little girl, she's got her perch. She likes riding in the tractor, listening to the radio, sitting in the air conditioning, getting a ride, watching the other dogs. It's funny too, because I come out to the tractor and I asked her if all I got to do is just say, hey, you want to go for a ride? And she just jumps all the way from the floor, all the way up in here, climbs up on the seat, and then her and I have to do a quick little shuffle. This cab in this tractor isn't very big, so and I'm not exactly a little guy, so there's not a lot of room in here, but I mean it works. But to have a dog and a guy in this cab, obviously there's no buddy seat or anything, so checking out some of these areas I hit with the land plane a little bit to see if I could smooth them out. It's going to take work. That's all right. It gives me something to do. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the shuffle. So she jumps up into the tractor, then she'll climb up on the seat. Then I come in, and then I have to hunch over the steering wheel and wiggle my butt back around in front of her. And then once I'm in, I quick shut the door, take the emergency brake off, because that's where she sits. So we drop that handle. And then she climbs down on the floor, and then I can sit down and finish buckling in, and we're all set. It's pretty fun. I like having my little passenger along. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, you can see it's a few inches long. I mean, it's not horrible, but I just kind of like to keep the trails maintained, and it gives me an excuse to be in the tractor anyway, so. What the heck? Well, I'm trying to hold the camera so you can see the rotary cutter back there. See what's going on behind us. Not the greatest view. Hopefully the camera's staying in focus, because I did notice I'm using a DJI camera, and I noticed that it likes to focus on whatever's really right up in front of it. And everything in the background then gets blurry. So I notice sometimes that it'll grab onto like my windshield wiper there, focus on that, and everything else goes blurry. So it's a little hard to film things sometimes, but overall it's a pretty good camera though. I kind of like it. That and the DJI microphone, they work good. So, and there's the big ditch we just went through. Talked about it before, but if we get a wet year, I don't know if we're going to be able to get through there, but it's definitely not wet this year. There's the infamous deer stand that's just off of our land, and I don't know if you can see that, but it is starting to sprinkle a little bit. I got to drop my deck back down, making a corner. Whoops. Hang on, stand by. Okay, deck's back. This tractor has a backup beeper. You probably heard that, but I don't know what to think about that. I mean, it's good. I could unplug it if it really annoyed me. Sometimes it annoys me, like especially if I'm in the building, moving the tractor around, trying to move different attachments and stuff. So then sometimes it's kind of annoying. Outside though, it's probably a good safety feature. Plus, I think it gives the dogs, when they're out there running, I think it kind of gives them a little clue too to watch out for the tractor, because I'm probably coming their way. So I think when that goes off, they always kind of check out the tractor, see where I'm at and what I'm doing, make sure they stay out of the way. So overall, I think it's probably a good thing. Can't really see myself disconnecting it, but winter's coming up, so I don't know, maybe I'd want to disconnect it for the winter months if I was just moving stuff around in the building. But on the other hand, I'm really not going to be moving the tractor much in the winter anyway. Yeah, up here it's gotten quite long. I'm going to go through the little second area that the ditch is going to cause a problem if it's wet. But all right, so here that is dropping down. This is where I wish the surveyor would have moved that last pin over so I could have stayed up on top of the ridge here without dipping down in here, but oh well, it is what it is. Lesson learned for me. When the surveyor comes out, you tell them where to go. You should probably go with them just to make sure everything makes sense on the ground. But oh well, it is what it is. Not a huge deal. So I mentioned that last weekend my wife and I went out to the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, and that's in the Black Hills of South Dakota. We live in South Dakota. That's on the far west end of the state, and we live on the east end of the state. So it's about I don't know, roughly a 5-hour drive to get out there. But and we've done both. We've been there several times. We've ridden our bike out and we've trailered our bike out. This year, you know, it had been so hot this summer, we were kind of trying to decide, should we ride it or should we trailer it? And it's just been so hot and humid this summer, both of us just kind of agreed that, man, probably would be a lot nicer just to take the truck, load the bike in the trailer, take the truck out there. The Black Hills are also known for getting hailstorms, like just pop up in the afternoons. It's like hail and rain. So I thought, well, then at least I'd have a garage, you might say, to park the bike in if we were expecting some weather like that. So we trailered it. So like the week before we went out there, it had been a while. I had a 2017 CVO Street Glide. So it's about 9 years old, and we haven't been riding, or at least I haven't been riding as much as I used to. I used to ride all the time. But since we got this place, I'm out here a lot, almost every weekend, so it kind of cuts into the riding time. Usually we'll take like a Sunday after church dinner ride or something. We'll go somewhere, and once a week, and that's been pretty much the extent of our riding. So, but it had been like 2 years since I had done an oil change, and just because I hadn't put that many miles on it. So I brought it up to the Harley dealer, had him do an oil change, and I knew it needed a front tire, so we replaced that. Get it back home. Oh, and my trailer's kind of an old piece of junk too, but I don't use it that much, so it's not really worth tying up funds into a newer trailer. So I've owned that thing for, I don't know, 13 years, I think. I put new tires on it and bearings, did all that when I bought it, but that was 13 years ago. So I know, I was thinking those tires are way outdated, and the bearings really haven't been looked at other than me just shooting some grease in them on occasion. And, oh, stand by, I got to turn around. Alright, so where was I? Old trailer. So anyway, I decided I should throw some tires on that, get the wheel bearings either repacked or replaced. So I brought that in after I got the motorcycle back. Brought the trailer in, got that done the day before we left. Got home that night, the night before we were going to leave, and I was loading the bike onto the trailer. Got it in there, and I noticed that my rear tire had a nail in it. So it was probably a good thing we were going to trailer versus riding, because I wouldn't have been able to get a rear tire on that fast. Being in Sioux Falls, where my Harley dealer is, they're swamped because of Sturgis, and all the traffic goes right past their dealership pretty much on I-90. So they get lots of maintenance and oil changes and tires and stuff like that during the pretty much 2 weeks of the rally. So I knew I wouldn't have been able to get that tire put on. I mean, we would have lost at least a day or two of vacation had we needed to do that. So it's a good thing we were trailing. So what we did, I just loaded it on there, drove out to Rapid City. Then when we got out there, we just took it straight to Black Hills Harley Davidson, unloaded it off the trailer out there, rode it in, and we had to have the rear tire put on. And while they were doing that, they called me. We're just roaming around the dealership there looking at all the vendors, because they have a big whole bunch of vendors out in the parking lot during the rally. So we spent a few hours doing that while they were doing the tire. Well, they called me. Brake pads were shot on the rear. those needed to be replaced too. So I'm like, okay, yep, do it, because wheels off, good time to do it. So they did. So we proceed to enjoy our rally Saturday. On Sunday, we stopped by one of the Harley demo trucks, and we demoed a new motorcycle that was pretty much the same thing that we were riding, just obviously 9 years newer. And technology changes a lot in 9 years. So we had a really nice bike, but wow, we were both really impressed by this new bike. So the next day, Monday, I guess that was, we went up to Sturgis itself. We don't stay in Sturgis, we always stay away southern Black Hills, but we like to go up to Sturgis usually once and just roam around up and down Main Street once during the middle of the day, and then we get out of there. We're not big party animals or anything like that. So we went up there, we're eating lunch right straight across from Sturgis Harley Davidson, and they had all their motorcycles sitting out in the parking lot. So we decided after lunch we'd wander over there, check out the bikes. Well, lo and behold, they had one of the bikes that we had just demoed the day before that we really liked. They had one sitting there. To make a long story even longer, we ended up with a new bike about 4 hours later. Totally unplanned. Stand by, turning around. So totally unplanned. Left with one bike, came home with another one. So now we got a new bike sitting in our garage. We had to ride it from Sturgis back down to where we were staying. So we put about 80 miles on it that day. And since then we got back. I've been really busy because we've been gone trying to catch up. I've only ridden it one other time so far. I rode it back to work after lunch on Thursday. But that was just a real short trip. And that's all we've gotten to ride it. I think tomorrow morning I'm going to go home, I'll hit church, and we'll probably try to do one of our Sunday afternoon dinner rides again. Get to use a little bit more, but anyway, that's pretty exciting and not something you do every time you go on a motorcycle trip. Leave with one vehicle, come home with a different one. So also talking about the motorcycle rally, I don't know, last time we'd been there was 2022, and man, I don't know what's happening with the world, but people are just far less considerate than they used to be. People are just so selfish and rude, downright rude in some cases. There are a lot of accidents and deaths this year. I think the official count was 2, but shoot, there was like, I think 5 deaths before. They didn't count because, or they didn't count them in the stats because of the rally hadn't officially started. But there are 5 people that got killed before we ever even got the rally going this year. And just a lot of bonehead riders out there, cutting people off, crossing the center line on curves, riding through the twisty, I mean, it's not really mountains, but it's as close to a mountain as you're going to get around here. Winding roads, blind corners, and people just flying around those things. And I don't know. So I think some people, they buy a bike, come out here, and it's probably about the first time they've ever ridden it, and have no clue what they're doing. You mix that with just how humanity just keeps getting dumber by the day, and throw in a little bit of drugs and alcohol, I don't know. This was kind of the scariest rally I think I've been at, or at least maybe it's just because I'm getting old, but I don't know. It just seemed kind of like there was a lot of really boneheaded people out there this year. This tractor I got, it's a 2025, comes with this mirror right here, which is okay. I can kind of see over my shoulder and behind me a little bit, but man, if that's all you're relying on to back up, that ain't much. So I did add the mirrors. They're John Deere mirrors that I got from the dealership, so added those on. Those help immensely. It seems like all I'm doing is turning around when I'm trying to talk to you guys. Anyway, so they help out a lot. That plus I did the wireless camera monitor system. So there you can see where my cutter is. And then if I switch the camera around, let me switch to the one that's on the front. Let's see, channel. Take a little bit to boot it up because I haven't actually used that one yet. Glare. Well, there. Now you can see the bucket and the dogs up there. And then if you hit it one more time, you get the split screen front and back. So that's kind of useful if you're doing a lot of like loader work or something, going back and forth, back and forth. Kind of keep an eye on your front and the back, making sure you're not riding over any critters that are named Coda, Chloe, or Trigger. So anyway, it's handy. So you can see the camera right up there in the front. It's just magnetic mounted. It's wireless. So the only thing I had to wire in was the monitor itself, and then all that needed, it just needed power. So I found a power source. I had to run the wires down behind me, down there. Anyway, ran that back in and tapped into a power source, and so that's the only thing it needs. And I don't really have to do anything when I hop in the trailer and turn tractor. I turn the key on. The monitor comes on, and it automatically starts communicating with the cameras, turns them on. When I'm done, I shut the key off, the monitor turns off, and the cameras will turn off after like a minute or two. Then they'll turn themselves off. So they got little solar panels on the top of them, so they'll kind of recharge themselves while you're in out in the tractor in use. So that comes in pretty handy. Every once in a while, though, I will have to take them off. Sorry, that ditch is something else. Take them off, charge them up, but you can keep track of the. So right now I'm in the rear camera and it's showing me my battery level. So you can kind of keep an eye on that, know when your battery might be getting low, but know when it's time to take it off and charge it because the solar is not quite keeping it full. But those are really nice. If you are looking for another good improvement besides those mirrors, I would definitely check into that. I think I've well, yeah, I could probably link to Amazon. Oh my, I could link down to Amazon there if you're interested. So check out the description below. I'll drop the link for the camera system that I'm using. You can get, I think this one is a 10-inch monitor, and then on my 3030AD I got the exact same system, but that one is like a 7-inch or 7.5-inch monitor or whatever, just a little bit smaller because on there I don't have quite the room. But so yeah, I use that same system on both tractors and works great. So how's the weedy field doing where we sprayed all those gross nasty weeds after we mowed it doing, you ask? Well, thanks for asking. This is what it's looking like. It's pretty good. I got some grasses and stuff coming in. Actually, a lot more grasses coming back, so that's good. There still is a pretty fair amount of the stuff that I was trying to kill, but not nearly as bad as it was, so I'm pretty happy with that. One unfortunate thing, though, or not unfortunate, just something that kind of irritates me a little bit, is I sent an email off to our conservation district and asked if there's any help or suggestions or anything like that that they could do with me out here to create some habitat, like plant some, I don't know, sorghum or just whatever good cover would be for pheasants and deer and wildlife. And that was like 3 weeks ago. Haven't heard anything, so probably eventually we'll need to call them. Just haven't had the time or the energy or the desire, I guess. So, but I don't know. Send them an email, no response. That seems kind of, I don't know, irritating. All right, so I'm going to jump in here. We were in the tractor talking about the field back there where I'd sprayed all those weeds, and I just remembered I got a little drone footage that I took shortly after I had mowed it, sprayed it, and then sprayed it again after my boo-boo. So I'm gonna inject that right here, and you can see, I mean, it killed things pretty darn good. Everything looks pretty burned up there. So we're gonna drop that drone footage in right here, and you can check that out. All right, guys, well, that's probably about enough rambling for this video. So I think we'll wrap that one up here. You can see the old tractor. It actually did start raining when I was out there, and the mower got a little, well, it always gets grass on it, but now it's got wet grass. But it was kind of not really raining, but sort of sprinkling pretty good when I was wrapping it up and decided to quit for now. So I just ran it inside. I didn't hose anything off or clean it up at all. I might still be running out there a little bit more yet today, who knows, but anyway, all this looks pretty good. Mowed the lawn yesterday with the zero turn like I talked about, and man, I love that zero turn. Got the sprinklers going. Try to at least keep the yard watered around the building here, so sort of keeping up with it. I guess we're not doing too bad. So, well, anyway, guys, that'll wrap it up for this one, and we'll catch you on the next one. I'm going to also add a little drone footage at the end of this one, kind of appropriate for the end of a video, because it's drone footage of the end of a day. Not this day, but end of a day. So, hey, guys, thanks for joining me on Tractors, Land, and Shop Time. You know, subscribe if you haven't already. We'd love to have you along for the trip. Me and the dogs, well, they're circling like a bunch of sharks somewhere. All right, well, anyway, all right, I lost control of my camera. So yeah, like I was saying, like the video, that helps me out. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be back with more content coming up in the future, I'm sure. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Catch you on the next one.